Oh, it gets out of his hands.
He was the 5th overall pick of the 1999 NBA draft. Straight out of high school, Jonathan Bender was deemed as the next great superstar. At 7 foot, 230 pounds, lanky, athletic, all the tools of a guard with the height of a center, and the lateral quickness of a wing. Equipped with a highly accurate jump shot, Bender was a once-in-a-generation athlete. In the 1999 McDonald's All-American game, Bender scored 31 points, breaking Michael Jordan's record of 30. The hype was real. However, as great of a player he was on paper, it didn't pan out on the actual court. Bender went from being the most anticipated high school prospect since Kobe Bryant to, well, an absolute bust. There's a lot to his career that most people don't know about. What caused him to fail? Was it a simple lack of opportunity, a lack of motivation? Or was he overrated by scouts to begin with, during an era where high school players were flooding into the league? You might be quite surprised by his career story, but anyway, let's get started. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe. If you like the content, drop a sub or a like, and thank you so much for the support. To start off his career, Bender originally got drafted by the Raptors. However, other teams were so desperate to get him that there were a lot of conversations on draft night. Teams one by one were dropping offers on the table, trying to pry him away from the Raptors. One of those teams was the Indiana Pacers. GM Donnie Walsh desperately wanted Bender, to the point where he was willing to blow up a championship-caliber roster to get him. He traded away Antonio Davis to Toronto in exchange for Bender. At first, it was deemed a great deal for Indiana, cause you got a potential superstar for just a solid backup center. Davis wasn't bad, but that's all he was. I mean, just think about that. A backup role player for the 5th pick of the draft. That's insane. That would never happen today. The Raptors got a ton of flack for doing this deal, and everyone thought Donnie Walsh was a goddamn genius. However, it wasn't long after where some Pacers fans started to realize, maybe we shouldn't have traded away Antonio Davis after all. Surprisingly, Davis was a crucial piece of the team, and the Pacers definitely could have used him a year later, in the 2000 NBA Finals. In that finals, their sheer lack of quality big men caused them to struggle greatly against Shaq, who absolutely trounced and dominated the Pacers in every possible way. I'm not saying Davis would turn the series around, but they definitely could have used another experienced big man who could make him work. As for Bender, well, his first few years in Indiana did not look so good. The doctors discovered he had some knee pain that would not go away, and it forced him to sit out so many games early on. While the Pacers were very eager to give him the opportunity to lead the franchise, he just couldn't stay on the floor long enough to do anything. It's not like he wasn't given the chance, the Pacers were trying to give him the chance. In his first 2 seasons, he missed 81 games, and in the games he actually played in, he struggled a lot. His only decent season came in 2002. Bender averaged a career-high 21 minutes per game, with a career-high in points and rebounds. Obviously, he didn't have the impact we thought he would by now, but he still became a valuable rotation player. That's better than nothing. It was a step forward. However, looking at the grand scheme of things, thus far, Bender's career has been a colossal failure. Injuries aside, even when healthy, he really hasn't shown much. That versatile skill set, that silky smooth jump shot, that guard-like mentality in the body of a center, it looks like he left his talents back in high school. Occasionally, he would explode for like 15 points, but that was once in a blue moon. Very rarely did we see him utilize his complete package. But whenever he did make a fantastic play, for 10 seconds, he made the doubters have a sliver of hope. Alas, that was all he had. Hope. That 2001-2 season would be his best season in the league. Afterwards, it went downhill. Not like he was ever on the hill to begin with. The interesting thing is, it's not like Bender wasn't trying. I know with a lot of busts, there's a clear lack of motivation and effort, or maybe they get into some off-court problems. Those setbacks are the most common reasons why some highly touted prospects fail. But for Bender, that wasn't even the case. According to an excerpt from Mark Montieth, he stated, "He fooled people. He was so quiet and so oft injured. During his so brief playing career with the Pacers, people assumed he wasn't very smart or motivated. Turns out they were wrong. He had a vertical jump of nearly 40 inches and unlimited shooting range. But there were questions about him too. He was just 18 years old, ultra skinny, and unknown to the Pacers, had bad knees." It wasn't a lack of motivation that set him back. Bender worked his tail off every summer, and when he was injured, he'd spend hours upon hours just studying film to try to get better in any way possible. Even prior to joining the NBA, the scouts knew his work ethic was not the problem. That 2002 season I mentioned earlier wasn't anything special, but it gave fans hope. Mark Montieth reinforced this notion. Quote, "His game still needed refinement, but he was coming. I recall certain highlight moments such as when he took one dribble from the three-point line and dunked, or got the ball so high above the rim that your jaw plunged. One dribble from the three-point line and dunked. That's something that Durant popularized, and now Giannis is known for doing it too. We're not even spooked by it anymore. It happens so often now because more and more 7-footers can do stuff like this. But back in the day, to see someone do that, it was unprecedented." Sadly, the fact that he got drafted 5th in a great draft class in '99, it makes him look worse. Take a look here. Every player drafted in the top 10 was fantastic. Some of them became all-stars, others like Lamar Odom, Andre Miller, Jason Terry, even Wally Szczerbiak, they all became very good starters. Out of everyone in the top 10, Bender was by far the worst. On the bright side, at least he still got paid. In the summer of '02, the Pacers projected he would continue to improve and build upon that somewhat successful season. So they signed him to a 4-year, $28 million extension. Ultimately for the Pacers, Bender never got better. It was also discovered he had a medical condition in his knees, hence why the pain would not go away. He spent years doing rehab and recovery, but to no avail. In the following seasons, he played 46 games, and then 21 games, and then 7, and then 2. Rick Carlisle, the Pacers coach at the time, worked closely and diligently with Bender. He was one of his favorite players. The Pacers were very patient with him and never waived him, even though it was clear he should not be taking up a roster spot. Carlisle talked about Bender's remorseful journey. "I'm sad for him, for his family. A situation like this couldn't happen to a more undeserving person. Jonathan really is a great kid. It'll be one of the questions when you look back in history. How good could this guy have been? I'm not sure that there was any limit to his potential. It was just not meant to be." By 2006, he was out of the NBA, but he did have a short comeback moment in 2009 with the New York Knicks. That only lasted 25 games until his final retirement. While most former NBA busts fade into the distance, Bender was determined to help other players with similar knee problems as him. Post-retirement, he actually developed the JBIT Med Pro, a medical device that takes stress off the knees and strengthens the surrounding muscles. He's dabbled in entrepreneurship and business, being involved in numerous charities as well. So at least he seems to be doing well, despite his career not panning out. And that's all, folks. Over the years, I've heard some people say that Bender got drafted way too high. But he really wasn't. He was that talented. He impressed a lot of folks prior to the draft, but it was during a time when high school players might have been too overhyped. Some teams wanted to take a huge gamble and find the next Kobe or the next Kevin Garnett. Bender certainly looked like he had all the tools to be the next superstar, the prototype version of Kevin Durant. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If he was fully healthy, do you honestly think he could have been a superstar? He showed flashes of it throughout his career, but to maintain a level of consistency is super difficult, even without the injuries. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.